Coachella Weekend 1 was a mess. What was supposed to be one of the most perfect weekends of the year quickly turned into something people weren't expecting at all. Instead of glowing sunsets and flawless performances, the conversation online started shifting toward complaints, frustration, and disappointment. Influencers who usually hype up every moment began posting about overcrowding, long waits, and what many described as a strange, uncomfortable energy across the festival grounds. People who had spent months planning their outfits, travel, and content suddenly found themselves dealing with last-minute chaos. Airbnb hosts reportedly canceled bookings without warning, only to relist the same places at higher prices as demand surged. Some attendees even claimed they were uninvited from events they thought were secured. The vibe that usually defines Coachella, carefree and glamorous, felt replaced by stress and unpredictability, and as more stories came out, it became clear that this wasn't just a few isolated incidents. Something about this year felt off, and people couldn't stop talking about it. But as messy as that already sounded, it was only the beginning of what would turn into the most talked-about controversy of the weekend: the pizza scandal, Pukechella. Just when people thought the worst part of the weekend was the disorganization, a completely different issue started going viral, and this one caught everyone off guard. Multiple attendees began sharing eerily similar stories about getting sick after eating food at the festival, specifically pointing fingers at the pizza. Social media quickly filled with posts describing sudden stomach issues, people rushing to bathrooms, and others missing entire days of performances they had been waiting months to see. One creator even described needing medical help and IV treatment after falling seriously ill, claiming it all started shortly after eating a slice. What made the situation even more intense was how widespread the claims seemed to be. It wasn't just one person, it was dozens, all connecting their experience to the same food. But at the same time, not everyone agreed. Some people defended the vendors, saying they ate the same pizza multiple times without any issues at all. That contradiction only made the situation more confusing.
Poor pizza place that is getting blamed for everyone getting sick is crazy, because I had multiple friends who were at Coachella who ate the pizza. I actually also ate the pizza on Sunday.
Was it a bad batch? Was it something else entirely? Or was the internet blowing things out of proportion? No one had a clear answer, but the nickname Pukechella started spreading, and suddenly, food at the festival became a major concern. And just as that conversation was gaining momentum, another shift began happening behind the scenes. As the backlash continued to grow, Coachella organizers appeared to step in, but not in the way many people expected. Instead of directly addressing the complaints or the food controversy, changes started appearing quietly through updates and announcements. Set times were adjusted, new acts were added, and replacements were introduced without much explanation. When the updated schedule dropped, even the tone of the announcement seemed slightly impatient, almost as if the organizers were feeling the pressure from all the criticism. It gave off the impression that something was being managed behind the scenes, even if it wasn't being openly discussed. Some fans saw it as an attempt to shift attention away from the negativity and back toward the music, while others felt it was a sign that the festival was scrambling to regain control. Either way, it was clear that Weekend 2 was being approached differently. There was a sense that everything had to go smoother this time, or the reputation of the entire event could take a serious hit. But while organizers were making adjustments, fans were already looking ahead, and what they were expecting next might be even bigger than anything that had already happened. Weekend 2, surprise rumors. As attention turned toward Weekend 2, the focus shifted from complaints to anticipation, but not in a calm or predictable way. Instead, the internet became flooded with theories, rumors, and speculation about surprise appearances that could completely change the narrative. Coachella has always been known for unexpected guest moments, but this year, something felt different. When Sabrina Carpenter's set time was quietly extended, it immediately sparked curiosity. Fans began connecting dots, suggesting that the extra time could only mean one thing: a major guest appearance. One of the biggest names being mentioned was Madonna, especially after whispers about new music and possible collaborations started circulating. The idea of a surprise performance featuring two artists from completely different generations was enough to send fans into a frenzy. But there was also hesitation, because similar rumors had already spread the previous weekend and turned out to be false. That uncertainty made everything even more intense. People didn't know what to believe, but they couldn't stop watching, because if even one of these rumors turned out to be true, it could instantly redefine how this entire Coachella season would be remembered. While one major rumor was already enough to build hype, it didn't stop there. Fans quickly began speculating about other potential appearances, and one name kept coming up again and again: Olivia Rodrigo. The timing seemed almost too perfect. She had just released new music, hinted at a fresh era, and even dropped subtle clues through merchandise that suggested she might be appearing at a festival soon. On top of that, she had been spotted recently with other artists connected to the Coachella lineup, which only fueled more theories. To fans, these weren't random coincidences. They were pieces of a bigger puzzle, and considering how many surprise guests had already shown up during Weekend 1, the expectation for Weekend 2 started to feel even higher. Some people even believed that the second weekend might end up delivering bigger moments than the first, which almost never happens. That possibility alone was enough to keep everyone watching closely. But while fans were busy predicting surprise performances, another situation was quietly unfolding that left people just as confused. The mystery around Cat's Eye. Amid all the excitement and speculation, there was another storyline developing that didn't involve performances at all, but it still had fans deeply invested. The group Cat's Eye became the center of attention, not because of what they were doing on stage, but because of what wasn't happening behind the scenes. One member's absence raised questions that no one seemed willing to answer directly. Interviews gave vague responses, emphasizing support and unity, but avoiding any real explanation. At the same time, the missing member was still included in certain projects, like merchandise collaborations, which only made things more confusing. Fans started to notice the inconsistency. How could someone be both part of the group and not present at the same time? The lack of clarity led to speculation, with people trying to piece together what might really be going on. It wasn't dramatic enough to dominate headlines, but it was just mysterious enough to keep people talking. And while this quiet uncertainty continued to build, something else much louder was happening, something that showed just how much demand for this festival had exploded. The Justin Bieber effect. If there was any doubt about how powerful a single moment at Coachella could be, it disappeared almost instantly after Justin Bieber stepped into the spotlight. His appearance didn't just excite fans, it completely changed the market around the festival. Almost overnight, ticket prices surged to levels that shocked even experienced attendees. What had once been available at reasonable resale prices suddenly jumped into the thousands, with general admission and VIP passes becoming nearly impossible to afford. And it didn't stop there. Premium experiences, like private tables near the main stage, reached prices that felt almost unreal, climbing as high as tens of thousands of dollars for a single day. Despite the cost, people were still buying them, proving just how strong the demand had become. It highlighted a side of Coachella that isn't always talked about: the exclusivity, the status, and the influence of celebrity appearances on everything around the event. What started as a music festival had clearly evolved into something much bigger, where moments on stage could instantly reshape the entire experience. And with that level of hype going into Weekend 2, one question remained impossible to ignore. As everything builds toward the second weekend, the uncertainty feels stronger than ever. On one side, there's the chaos of the first weekend: complaints, confusion, and unexpected issues that caught everyone off guard. On the other, there's the rising anticipation fueled by rumors, potential surprise appearances, and the massive surge in demand after headline moments. It's a strange balance between doubt and excitement, where no one is completely sure what's about to happen, but everyone is watching closely. Because if Weekend 1 proved anything, it's that nothing at this year's Coachella is predictable. And that's exactly what makes Weekend 2 so important. It has the chance to completely turn things around, or push the chaos even further. Either way, one thing is certain: whatever happens next won't go unnoticed.